Hello everyone, and welcome to another midweek video message update. As always, I trust this inquiry finds you safe, healthy, and well. Well, first of all, I am sorry to disappoint. No granddaughter Mia in my lap this week. I happen to notice that I got quite a few more views with Mia in my lap than without. I'm scheming on the next time she can join me. Indeed, what a doll she is. Well, here we are at the beginning of January. Let's talk about resolutions. Are you a resolution maker and keeper? Is that something that you practice on an annual basis? If you do, how's it going for you? And if you don't, why don't you make resolutions? Ran across an online article just the other day about the benefits of making resolutions. The medical community has determined that making resolutions is medically good for people. It teaches people, according to physicians, it teaches people to take initiative. It's especially effective for kids to learn to take initiative over their environment. That way they don't become overly dependent on other people. According to physicians, the most achievable, the most effective resolutions meet two criteria. One is that they are specific in their goal, and secondly, they are feasible. For example, good resolutions for preschoolers is to always help pick up and clean up now their toys, and perhaps do something for the family, for the larger community, and maybe they could clear some things off the dinner or the kitchen, the breakfast table. Elementary students, perhaps some important or feasible and achievable resolutions would be to drink more water, maybe less soda, less flavored drinks, and more water. And maybe set aside some time just to read for pleasure. You know, in elementary school, we start to get a lot of assignments and we have to start doing a lot of reading, and reading becomes required. So reading just for enjoyment is a good resolution according to doctors. For our teenagers, getting more sleep, the prescribed 8 to 10 hours of sleep is a good idea. When we get into teen schedules, we have more demands and more expectations and more activities and more things that we want to participate in. And one of the places we cut is sleep. And so getting enough sleep, 8 to 10 hours for teenagers, is a good resolution, as is also perhaps volunteering in the larger community. And adults, there's some good resolutions for us too. One is to adopt and participate in some new technology. Secondly, and certainly not unrelated, is to add something new to our routines. We like our routines, but sometimes our routines become ruts. And so to continue to introduce new activities and new ideas and newness into our life. You'll notice that for adults, that change is a good resolution. Well, whether you are a resolution maker and or keeper or not, the purpose of my video is for us to think about resolutions, but most significantly to understand and to recognize and to see by the gift of faith that God makes resolutions. God makes resolutions about you. Resolutions are promises. And we don't keep our resolutions. We don't keep our promises. But the good news for us, the good news for you is that God does keep God's resolutions. God does keep God's promises. God has promised to redeem this world. And it may not look like it as we look out into the year, out into the world here at the beginning of the year. How in the world is God ever going to make all of this right? How is God ever going to put all of this back in right relationship? How are we ever going to get to a world where there is no more crying and no more tears? Well, it doesn't look like that's possible. but it is. And how do we know? By the gift of faith, we know that God is resolute, that God is resolved to keep God's promises, to redeem all things. And God's resolution, God's promise is Jesus. Remember that as you are tempted to break or not keep promises, as you lose your ability to keep promises, as you fail to do the things you should do and do the things you're not supposed to do, God remains resolute, and God remains steadfast in keeping God's promises for you and to you through Christ Jesus. Keep your eyes fixed on Christ Jesus throughout this entire year and certainly every day of your life. God bless. Be well.